Congratulations on becoming the new champion. You are now the strongest trainer in the entire region. Now let's record the team that you battled all those trainers with. I'm sure that you used some of the most elite Pokemon known to man. What is going on, guys? This is Dobbs here, bringing you another Pokemon video. And in this video, I'm going to go over the top 10 strongest trainers of all time. And to make it more interesting, I'm going to choose the strongest trainer from 10 different categories. In no particular order, I'm going to go over the strongest gym leader, anime character, Elite Four member, trial captain, rival, NPC, manga character, champion, antagonist, and to mix it up a bit, a wild card. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and don't forget to stay till the end to find out more about this cool app called Quidd. That's a new app where you can collect and trade digital trading cards, and is also sponsoring this video. So with that said, without further ado, let's get started. Leading in at number 10 for the strongest gym leader, we have, well, it came down to 3 trainers who in different circumstances could be considered the strongest. Here, let me explain. Now, in my opinion, in terms of an overall team and the challenge itself, I think Claire from Pokemon Stadium 2 Round 2 would be considered the strongest gym leader. Her team in this challenge consists of very diverse Pokemon who can pretty much take on any Pokemon team and have the upper advantage. And unlike most gym leaders, Claire's team in Stadium doesn't stick to just one typing, making her a pretty powerful trainer. But even though this representation of Claire is portrayed very powerful, it doesn't canonically mean that she is the strongest gym leader, because after all, Blue from Pokemon Crystal was once a champion of the Pokemon League, and Wallace from Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire later became champion. So it makes you wonder, who between the two champions is actually the strongest gym leader? Well, even though in Pokemon Origins it shows that gym leaders scale their Pokemon based on the trainer's skill level, one would think that these two champions would call out because they're the last gym in each game. And just looking at their teams from each gym battle, I think Blue would destroy Wallace without even breaking a sweat. But if it came down to a champion battle with their Pokemon League Pokemon, I think Wallace might have the upper hand because of his diverse set of moves and limited weaknesses. So in the end, it's really undetermined. But to me, I think Pokemon Stadium Claire would destroy both of them. But this is only number 10, and only gets crazier from here. Standing in at number 9 for the strongest Elite Four member, we have Lance. Now to me, Lance was the obvious choice for the spot because of course, he was the original champion of the Pokemon League before Blue defeated him. And during that era, Fairy typing hadn't been discovered yet, so his Dragon type Pokemon dominated most team compositions. Even Red, the legend himself, had enough confidence in Lance to take over the Pokemon League while he took a leave of absence to train at Mount Silver. But you probably already knew all of this. So to put Lance's power into more perspective, it is said on Bulbapedia that Lance battled Professor Kukui and apparently won. And Professor Kukui isn't some ordinary pushover, because this is the same guy who created the Pokemon League in the Alola region, reigns over the Battle Royale Dome under his mass alias, the Mass Royale, and was powerful enough to overpower the Elite Four and act as standing champion before Sun and Moon arrives. So Lance defeating this powerful professor is actually a very impressive accomplishment. Not to mention that he was able to evolve 3 Dragonairs before level 55 in Pokemon Crystal, which is a pretty unique skill that not many trainers can do. Creeping in at number 8 for the strongest Pokemon antagonist, we have Giovanni. Now during the creation of this list, I was torn between Greevil from Pokemon Colosseum and Giovanni from the mainstream Pokemon games. What made Greevil so tempting was for the fact that he is the only trainer in existence to have the title Grand Master. Also, he had a full party of Shadow Pokemon including the 3 legendary birds. And if you didn't know, Shadow Pokemon moves are super effective to all Pokemon types, so going against Greevil with normal Pokemon was a very difficult challenge. But what really convinced me to choose Giovanni over Greevil was because of his history with Mewtwo. Not only did Giovanni create the strongest Pokemon of all time, he managed to manipulate him and control him for his own use. So for a period of time, Giovanni could have been considered the strongest Pokemon trainer just for the sheer fact that he had Mewtwo. Not to mention that his position as the leader of Team Rocket gives him even more power in terms of social status. No wonder Giovanni is the only person to have the trainer class boss, because he is a pure badass. Trailing in at number 7 for the strongest trial captain, we have Hapu. Now, most people would assume that Acerola, Hala, and Olivia are the strongest trial captains just because they're part of the Elite Four in the Alola League. But this would be a misconception because, in my opinion, I think Nanu and Hapu would both outrank the 3 Elite Four members in different ways. Starting with Nanu, this retired international police officer, which is also an Island Kahuna, had a major role in stopping the Ultra Beasts that invaded Alola. On top of that, Professor Kukui acknowledges his power by offering a position in the Pokemon League as one of the Elite Four. But Nanu, being his badass self, declined the offer because, just like any retired old man, he wasn't interested since he wasn't obligated. But even though Nanu was offered a position to be an Elite Four member, was chosen by a guardian deity to be the Island Kahuna, and was once an international police officer who fought the Ultra Beast, I think Hapu just barely comes on top as the strongest trial captain of Alola. Only around 20 years old, this young girl was chosen by Tapu Fini to succeed her grandfather as the island's kahuna. And you gotta keep in mind, there are only 4 kahunas in the entire Alola region, and most of them are adults. So Hapu being offered and taking this honor at such a young age is quite astonishing. On top of that, when standing as champion of the Pokemon League, she confronts you in a title-defending battle, which can only mean that she managed to defeat the entire Elite Four in order to challenge you. So this young Island Kahuna is no joke, and definitely deserves a spot as the strongest trial captain trainer. But she isn't anywhere close to the strongest trainer of all time, so let's continue. Fighting his way in at number 6 for the strongest rival, we have Blue. Now, Blue from the original Pokemon games really set the standard for what a rival should be to the main character. Someone who's always competing to be better than you, and holding their respect until they're beaten in the final battle. Not only did Blue push Red to be a legendary Pokemon trainer, he also managed to defeat the entire Elite Four and take Champion to be the very first and only rival to obtain that honor. Nowadays, in my opinion, rivals are complete pushovers and don't really show any competitiveness to the main character. It's mostly just friends battling for the heck of it. But Blue, on the other hand, was very cocky, unfriendly, and showed no respect whatsoever to Red until that final battle in the Pokemon League. On top of that, Blue is not only the only rival to become champion, but he's the only rival to have his own gym. He is so strong in fact that it says in Bulbapedia that Blue doesn't take challenges unless his trainer has 7 badges, making himself a very sought after opponent to defeat. It's no wonder Red became one of the best trainers of all time. Blue probably pushed him harder than any rival from any game combined. But strangely enough, Blue is only ranked number 6 in this list, and the trainers to come are even more powerful. Computing in at number 5 for the wild card, we have Professor Oak from Pokemon Red and Blue. Now, the interesting thing about Pokemon Sun and Moon is that it has a lot of throwbacks to the original Pokemon games. If you ever wondered why Professor Kukui was chosen to be champion of the Alola League, you might be surprised to find out that the developers were probably inspired by the quote-unquote original champion for Pokemon Red and Blue. Stated in Bulbapedia, in the Generation 1 games, there was an unused trainer data for Professor Oak. This data would imply that the player was supposed to battle him at some point in the game. But the interesting detail about Professor Oak's unused trainer data was that the strength of his Pokemon was on par of the player's rival in the Pokemon League. Not to mention that all of his Pokemon were exactly identical to the ones used by Blue as champion, with the only exception that Professor Oak's Pokemon were higher leveled, which could mean that Professor Oak was originally meant to be champion. Further evidence that would prove this theory was that there was an email on Professor Oak's PC in which the Pokemon League issues a challenge to all trainers and specifically requests Oak to come visit them, which kind of explains why Professor Oak randomly shows up after the player defeats Blue and literally shows you the champion room and enters your data. Exactly what every champion has done in every game released after Red and Blue. Pretty mind-blowing. Stopping in at number 4 for the strongest anime character, we have Tobias. Now, Tobias first appeared in the anime as a very mysterious person. No one really knew what this guy was capable of until he first battled in the Pokemon League. He is so strong in fact that he only needed to use Darkrai to not only get all 8 gym badges, but to pretty much win the entire Pokemon League, with the exception of facing Ash. During that battle, Ash managed to weaken Tobias' Darkrai with his Heracross, and then finished it off with his Sceptile. But to no surprise, Tobias called out another legendary Pokemon and swept the rest of Ash's team with only his Latios. It's pretty crazy how much little information is known about this insanely powerful trainer. The fact that he owns 2 legendary Pokemon is incredible in itself. The only other trainer that comes to mind that actually owns legendaries in the anime is Brandon from the Battle Tower with his 3 Reggies. But for the reason of not knowing a lot about this mysterious trainer, I can only rank him at number 4 on this list. Standing in at number 3 for the strongest champion, we have Cynthia. Now the reason why Cynthia is so powerful compared to the other champions from the Pokemon games is because of the synergy her Pokemon have. Unlike most champions who rely on single Pokemon typings or just straight up power, Cynthia on the other hand uses offensive and defensive Pokemon who happen to have perfect IVs. Not only does Cynthia have some of the highest level Pokemon to ever debut in the games, but she also has probably one of the best AIs to ever battle against. Cynthia isn't afraid of switching Pokemon and changing her strategy on the fly because this champion will do whatever it takes to defeat the player during the final battle. On top of that, Cynthia owns one of the best competitive Pokemon to ever enter the league, her Garchomp. I am so confident in Cynthia's Garchomp's power, I would bet that this pseudo-legendary Pokemon would be able to take down most of the reigning champions of each region. With that Stab Dragon Rush and Stab Earthquake, would probably one-shot most opponents at its level. It's no wonder Cynthia keeps appearing in different Pokemon games, because she really is a powerful trainer every main character should get a taste of. Battling his way at number 2 for the strongest NPC, we have Red. Now Red from Heart Gold and Soul Silver is definitely the strongest NPC we've ever seen in a Pokemon game. Not only does his Pokemon have the highest levels of any trainer to ever battle in Pokemon, but also his team is very well balanced. Having practically no weakness, Red can counter basically everything you throw at him. Ranging from fighting type moves to ice type moves, his Pokemon have a very diverse set of move pools that would be able to go against many types of different Pokemon. And his Pikachu? Let's just say that level 88 Electric Mouse that's holding a Light Ball could arguably be the strongest Pokemon to ever be programmed in a Pokemon game. Speaking of Pokemon games, I was kinda disappointed in how they nerfed this legendary trainer so hard in Pokemon Sun and Moon, because this is the same Red who caught Mewtwo and completed his Pokédex for Professor Oak. You would think by now his Pokemon would be at least level 100 after training for so long on Mount Moon. But regardless, it's safe to say that this interpretation of Red from Heart Gold and Soul Silver will probably be the strongest NPC trainer we will ever face, unless there's a Red 2 and a Blue 2, but that's for another video. Reading in at number 1 for the strongest manga character and the strongest Pokemon trainer of all time, we have Emerald. Now at the end of the Emerald Adventures manga, there was a 10 Dex Holder challenge that took place at the Battle Frontier. It's undetermined if their Pokemon was set to level 50 during that challenge, but it's highly unlikely because it was mentioned earlier in the saga that there wasn't a method of doing something like that. So in all likeliness, these battles were open level. Now what's surprising about this challenge is that Green managed to defeat Red in this competition, and then after that, Emerald managed to win it all by defeating Green, making Emerald the top Dex holder from that challenge. Some believe that Red isn't the best battler when put in a situation when there are rules, but to me, I think what makes the strongest battler is a trainer who can excel in all kinds of different scenarios, and in my opinion, I think Emerald falls under that category perfectly. But some can say that Red and Emerald are complete opposites. Red loves to battle under no restrictions, and Emerald loves to battle under a set of rules. So really, until we see an actual battle between the two, we can only assume that Emerald from the Dex Holder Challenge holds the throne of the strongest trainer of all time. So now you know. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like if you did, I appreciate it a ton. And big shout out to Quid for sponsoring this video. Quid is a new app on iOS and Android where you can collect cool stickers, cards, and toys for free all on your phone. Just like emojis, Quid allows you to use these stickers in your messaging app to spice up the conversation with your friends. With over 1,000 stickers to choose from, Quid offers many different types of stickers that you can't find anywhere else. Ranging from shows like Rick and Morty, Bob's Burger, and even Family Guy, Quid has tons of digital stickers and toys that you can trade and play with. And just like in Pokemon, you can find super rare pulls when opening packs. But probably the best part about this app is that you can collect for free and expect new stickers to be released every day. Even Adventure Time and Steven Universe are coming soon too. So be sure to download Quid from the link down below in the description. And be sure to follow and trade with me at Dobbs. And also, if you're enjoying the channel, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to follow me on Twitter for fan interactions, video updates, and other cool stuff, follow me at Ethan Dobbs. And for the question of the day, who do you think is the strongest trainer in Pokemon? Be sure to let me know down below in the comments. I can't wait to see what you guys have in mind. And I'll see y'all next time. See ya.